Teacher Beth always kept the identity of her child's father a secret. When her colleagues accidentally discover that the school janitor is the mysterious father, they can't contain their reaction, and mocking laughter fills the room. After all, how could a teacher get involved with a janitor? But the biggest surprise was yet to come when a caravan of vehicles parked in front of Beth's house. Hello, my friends. I am Linda, and this is Linda's Love Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. That morning, Beth felt her heart pounding with uncontrollable excitement. She was finally embracing the opportunity for a new chapter in her professional life. It was the long-awaited first day at her new job. When Beth arrived at the imposing school, she was immediately impressed by the grandeur of the place. She was eager to start her first day, but at the same time felt a bit disoriented, not knowing exactly where to find the teacher's lounge. The endless hallway seemed like a labyrinth, and Beth felt increasingly lost. It was at that moment of confusion that a gentle aide crossed her path. Gustavo, one of the dedicated janitors of the school, noticed the young teacher wandering through the halls and decided to approach her with a welcoming smile. "Hello, good morning," Gustavo greeted kindly. "Can I help you with something? I noticed you seem a bit lost." "Oh yes, please. I'm looking for the teacher's lounge. It's my first day here, and I'm a little disoriented." Gustavo nodded understandingly. "Don't worry, it happens to everyone at first. I'll show you the way. Follow me." As she followed Gustavo through the bustling corridors, Beth couldn't help but notice that the young janitor was a beloved figure among all the students at the school. With every step they took, students crossed their path and greeted him with cheerful and enthusiastic waves. Gustavo, in turn, responded with a warm smile. "It seems the students really like you around here," Beth commented, noting the special connection between Gustavo and the students. Gustavo just smiled. Finally, they reached the destination. "Here we are. This is the teacher's lounge. Good luck on your first day, Miss Beth," said Gustavo with his characteristic politeness, holding the door to the teacher's lounge for her. Beth thanked him with a sincere smile. "Thank you, Gustavo. Have a good day at work." Beth was warmly welcomed by the other teachers, who greeted her with smiles and words of welcome. Excited about her new role, the young teacher headed to her first class. However, the reality in the classroom was a bit different from what she had imagined. Accustomed to teaching 5-year-olds, that group of 12-year-old students was an unexpected challenge. Upon entering the room, Beth was met with a scene of agitation. The students were engaged in lively conversations, some even sitting on the desks, as if her presence there was entirely secondary. It took a while, but finally, after some persistent requests, the students relented and settled into their seats. Beth sat in her chair trying to adjust to the classroom environment when she suddenly realized something was wrong. As she tried to stand up, she felt a sticky substance on her chair. She realized that the students had purposefully put glue on it, and laughter echoed throughout the room. Disconcerted and not knowing how to react, Beth found herself in a difficult situation. With her dignity wounded and some tears escaping her eyes, she decided to leave the room and head to the restroom to clean herself up. At that moment, she encountered the janitor Gustavo in the hallway. His concern was evident upon noticing the tears in Beth's eyes. "Is everything all right, Miss Beth?" he asked kindly. Beth ended up confiding in Gustavo about what had happened. The janitor's comforting words calmed her. "Don't let them intimidate you. They're testing you. Everything will be fine," he said with a reassuring smile. She headed to the restroom. After composing herself, Beth returned to the classroom, expecting to find the students agitated and challenging. She was surprised to discover they were silent, listening to someone speaking to them. Silently, she approached and heard Gustavo addressing the students. "Hey kids," Gustavo began with a firm voice. "What you did to the new teacher wasn't cool at all. This is her first day here and we should all treat her with respect. Let's show that you are good kids. Treat her as if she were my friend. Agreed?" When Beth returned to the classroom, she immediately noticed a change in the children's behavior. They seemed more mature and aware of their actions. Surprisingly, they apologized for their previous mischief, acknowledging that their prank had been out of place. The class proceeded with tranquility and harmony, and the atmosphere in the classroom changed noticeably. As Beth watched her students engrossed in their artistic creations, she felt that the day had taken a positive turn, thanks to Gustavo's intervention. Beth took advantage of the lunch break to relax and recharge. While savoring her meal, she noticed the janitor, Gustavo, entering the cafeteria. Feeling a deep sense of gratitude for his help that morning, Beth picked up her plate and decided to sit near him. With a warm smile, she began the conversation. "I think I owe you one. Thank you for calming the students. It seems you really have a way with children." "It was nothing, Miss Beth. I just wanted to help," Gustavo replied. Beth and Gustavo spent lunch together, immersed in a light and relaxed conversation. Gustavo, with his fun spirit, easily elicited laughter and smiles from Beth. Beth couldn't help but notice that the other teachers looked at the situation with a certain derision. After all, it was unusual to see teachers sharing the lunch table with janitors. The friendship between Beth and Gustavo continued to strengthen in the days and weeks that followed. Despite the simplicity of his job as a janitor, Gustavo surprised Beth with his sharp intellect and knowledge that seemed to come from a solid academic education. There was an aspect of his life that he kept with great care: his past. Gustavo had been working at that school for 2 years, but no one knew much about his personal history. Beth noticed Gustavo's reserve about his past, but, respecting his privacy, never insisted on asking intrusive questions. As the friendship deepened, Beth and Gustavo began to meet outside of school as well. The time they spent together was filled with laughter, conversations, and moments of affection. Over time, they both realized that their feelings went beyond friendship, and they ended up falling in love with each other. "Beth, I don't want you to have problems or be mocked at school for dating the janitor. It's best we keep our relationship a secret," Gustavo said with a concerned expression on his face. Beth, although she didn't mind possible malicious comments or prejudices, understood Gustavo's concern. "I understand, Gustavo. If that's what you think is best, we'll keep our relationship a secret," responded Beth, supporting his choice. Time continued to pass, and Beth and Gustavo's relationship only grew stronger with each passing day. Beth, confident and happy in her love for Gustavo, decided to introduce him to her family and friends. They were quickly won over by Gustavo's charisma and charming personality. His ability to talk about a myriad of subjects aroused everyone's curiosity, further fueling the mystery around his past. In an intimate conversation, Beth expressed her curiosity about Gustavo's life. He looked into her eyes with sincerity and said, "Beth, I assure you I am neither a criminal nor married. I'm just not proud of my past and prefer to leave it behind." Beth continued to fully trust Gustavo, and their relationship kept developing in a solid and loving way. Time passed, and more than a year had gone by since they decided to keep their relationship a secret from the other school employees. Then one day, Beth made a discovery that filled their hearts with joy and surprise. She was pregnant. The couple was overcome with elation at the news, and the prospect of having a child together filled them with love and hope. Beth noticed that her fellow teachers were becoming increasingly curious, as they didn't even know she was in a relationship. The indiscreet questions about the father of her child became frequent, and many colleagues wanted to meet him, assuming he was also a teacher. She limited herself to smiling at the questions, maintaining Gustavo's privacy as they had agreed. However, one day, while Beth was showing the baby's ultrasound photos on her phone, a picture of her with Gustavo appeared on the screen, catching everyone by surprise. The indiscreet words of one of her colleagues echoed in the teacher's lounge. "I can't believe it, Beth. The father of your child is the janitor." Laughter and murmurs spread through the room. Beth remained unshaken by the mockery and judgments of others, for she deeply knew Gustavo's character and dignity. She was proud of the man she chose to love and was not discouraged by the prejudices of others. One day, Beth received an urgent call from her mother. Her mother's voice was full of concern when she said, "Beth, dear, I was surfing a social network when I came across a photo of a missing person. A family had been looking for their son who had disappeared for over 3 years, and the photo and name were of Gustavo. Beth, what happened in the past that made Gustavo run away from his family? Beth was completely surprised and stunned by this revelation. She knew that Gustavo's past was a mystery, but this information cast a shadow of doubt over him and his story. With her child set to be born in a few weeks, Beth realized it was time to uncover the truth behind the father of her child's past. Gustavo arrived home that day and immediately noticed that something was different in Beth's demeanor. She told him about the call from his mother. With a sad and worn-out look, Gustavo realized it was time to share his past with Beth. 3 years ago, Gustavo was a young engineer of just 25, enjoying the peak of his social life. He had a solid job, many friends, and attended parties every weekend. On one of those nights, his younger sister Eva, who was only 18, accompanied him to a party. Gustavo had promised his parents he would take care of her and bring her back safely. However, as the night progressed, Gustavo ended up drinking excessively and forgot his responsibility towards his sister. Eva got a ride from some of Gustavo's friends to go back home, but unfortunately the driver was also drunk and ended up involved in a traffic accident. Everyone in the car was injured, but Eva was the one who suffered the most severe injuries. Gustavo only learned about the accident the next morning, when he woke up from his drunken state. He rushed to the hospital and was faced with a desolate scene. Eva, his sister, might never be able to move her legs again due to the injuries. His father, overwhelmed with emotion and anger, burst out, "Gustavo, you promised to take care of your sister. Look what you've done, you irresponsible fool. You ruined her life. You are a disappointment." Overcome with guilt and shame, Gustavo decided to leave, believing he had already caused too many problems for his family. When Gustavo finished recounting his story, he kept his head down, struggling against the shame that haunted him. Beth took his hand and consoled him. "Gustavo, you certainly acted irresponsibly in the past, but you are a different person now. Your family has been looking for you all this time. They have surely forgiven you. Give yourself a chance to forgive yourself too." Beth listened attentively as Gustavo called his family and arranged a meeting for the next day. When the day broke, Beth and Gustavo were surprised by a caravan of luxury cars that stopped in front of the house. More than 5 cars were there, and Beth was impressed by the grandeur of Gustavo's family's arrival. As the door of the first car opened, a young woman emerged, leaning on a cane. It was Eva, Gustavo's sister, who was smiling as she approached him. Gustavo, recognizing her, ran to her and embraced her with tears in his eyes. His parents joined the hug, and Gustavo kept repeating incessantly, "Forgive me, forgive me." It was an emotional and moving moment as Gustavo's family reunited after years of separation and pain. Words of forgiveness and love filled the air. After 3 years of treatment and physiotherapy, Eva had made remarkable progress and now could walk with the support of just a cane. The revelation that Gustavo, the school janitor, was actually the son of a very wealthy family surprised Beth. He had attended the best schools and made many international trips before leaving his life behind. With the reconciliation of his family, Gustavo returned to his old job in the family businesses, rebuilding his life amidst the opportunities he had once abandoned. Beth and Gustavo, now surrounded by the support of their families and with the past finally resolved, decided to get married shortly after the birth of their child. Gustavo, over the years, had undergone a profound transformation. A traumatic event from the past had led him to distance himself from his family, but guilt had guided him on a journey of self-reflection and personal growth. Now, with the opportunity for reconciliation and forgiveness, he was determined to make up for lost time. The union with Beth and the birth of their child had brought a new dimension to Gustavo's life. He now had not only a second chance with his original family, but also the opportunity to create a loving and united family with Beth and their child. If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also, watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.